Good day to all of you. As a part of our learning activity for the subject ELT 201, Methods and Approaches in Teaching English as a Second Language, it is our pleasure to present the topic Cooperative Language Learning. My name is Louie County Rambuanga, and I will be discussing about the research basis and learning theories associated with cooperative language learning. I will also present a touch base on the challenges and opportunities in cooperative language learning. First, let us talk about what research can say about cooperative language learning. The good news is, many researches point to the direction that cooperative language learning is beneficial to students, not only with regards to the subject matter, but also to those embedded lessons that students learn, along with the subject matter content in cooperative language learning setup. Among those lessons would be the drive to achieve something as a group. Students learn how to become team player, an important skill that students need to acquire in order to thrive in their career in the future. Another is thinking skills, where students try to solve problems in an out-of-the-box and creative manner. Inter-ethnic relations also improve with cooperative language learning because the learning setup allows students to interact with each other more, creating opportunities to get their peers more. It will make them realize that each person can contribute to the success of the task at hand, regardless of background. Liking for school is also possible in cooperative language learning because friendships formed from these cooperative activities create a sense of community and belonging. If effectively done, cooperative language learning will also boost self-esteem because cooperative language learning does not operate on an individual success, rather by group. In this sense, group success is also felt as personal success, which can improve self-image. Academic achievement, according to research, is one of the positive results of cooperative language learning. It is encouraged in a cooperative classroom that students discuss and debate amongst themselves in order to come up with a better output. When students are grouped together, it creates a smaller environment where a student would feel more comfortable sharing his thoughts without feeling intimidated by the thought of being wrong. In group-led discussions, students are more likely to assess their own thought processes to make sure that his ideas would be communicated clearly to the group. This habit will have long-term positive effect on the students. Content mastery is also supported by these researches in cooperative language learning because in this setup, the students will be prompted to create their own meaning and understanding of the topic at hand. For example, in a think, pair, share activity for a lesson on adjectives would allow students to share what he knows about the lesson, at the same time absorb what his classmate is sharing about the topic, which casts a wider net of understanding for the lesson content. According to research, skilled communication is also an advantage in doing cooperative language learning because students will be required to speak and share most of the time in doing the activities. Most important of all, cooperative language learning fosters psychological health because of creating positive interactions among students. It is interesting to note that Slavin in 1990 indicated that students in their cooperative learning setup had feelings of individual control over their own fate in school. Well, part of the reason comes from the fact that while the activity is done by group, teachers still give ratings on individual performance, making the student feel that he is getting the benefit of working with other students, getting input from them while improving his own progress. The advantages presented are supported in a study conducted by Lucena and San Jose in 2016. They conducted a study on elementary students in Davao City, and it was revealed from that study that students interact and express themselves more to their peers or classmates during instructional episodes under cooperative language learning setup. The approach has helped even those who are reluctant to participate. A more recent study by Sinlay 2021 revealed that even in the time of learning amidst the pandemic, cooperative learning proved to be flexible and effective. It is important to mention, though, that the study was conducted in the blended learning setup. There are also challenges mentioned in the study that affected the quality of instruction, such as device and, internet problems. However, the benefits outweigh the challenges. Now, let us dig deeper to find out about the learning theories where cooperative language learning is anchored upon. First, we have social interdependence theory by Kurt Kafka. The roots of social interdependence theory lies in the 1900s, in the early 1900s, when Kurt Kafka, one of the founders of the Gestalt School of Psychology, proposed that groups were dynamic wholes in which the interdependence among members could vary. Social interdependence theory provides an example of how psychological theory, research, and practice interact in ways that enhance all three. Theory identifies and defines the phenomena of interest and their relationships with each other. Also, we have Lev Vygotsky's social-cultural theory, which views human development as a socially mediated process in which children acquire cultural values, beliefs, and problem-solving strategies through collaborative dialogues with more knowledgeable members of the society. Vygotsky's theory is comprised of concepts such as culture-specific tools, private speech, and the zone of proximal development. Vygotsky's theories stress the fundamental role of social interaction in the development of cognition, as he believes strongly that community plays a central role in the process of making meaning. Those two theories support the notion that learners develop communicative competence in a language by conversing in a socially or pedagogically structured situations. That is, considering all conducive learning conditions are met. So, crucial to learning or language learning is the art of questioning. We all know that. Wiederhold has developed a battery of cooperative activities built on the matrix that encourages learners to ask and respond to a deeper array of alternative question types. It's interesting, right? It is called the question matrix. So consider this situation. In a class, a teacher asks the same question to all students regardless of their ability. Say, asking comprehension question about reading a selection. So the teacher asks the class, what is the selection about? The class then stays silent in contemplation. The teacher repeats the same question twice or thrice and still no answer. So this scenario would require that the teacher asks a question that has the same thought but reframed. This is the time when the question matrix would be beneficial. The question matrix was developed by Chuck Wiederhold. It is a set of question starters designed to develop higher order thinking skills, as mentioned in Wiederhold and Kagan in 1998. It operates on the notion that thinking skills can be taught. This helps learners to become more aware of their own learning and develop a thinking process that would make them more responsible with their thinking skills, and eventually it will make them lifelong learners. In the context of language learning, the question matrix will allow the students to explore his ability to convey thoughts in second or foreign language. Wiederhold's question matrix provides a template for asking questions in different pretexts and contexts. So on top of motivating the student to think critically, it will also improve the ability of the student to convert ideas into meaningful exchanges or meaningful ideas. This question matrix, if used correctly, promises better comprehension and communication skills of students. Now, you might say that I am partial to this learning theory because this is our report. But I would also share with you some challenges associated with cooperative language learning. Here are some of the challenges that teachers might experience along with suggestions that I came up with. Now, disclaimer, since I was the only one, I'm the only one who came up with these suggestions, it is possible that you might have better suggestions. If that is the case, I would suggest that you share that with your reflection paper, or you may also share that when we have our discussion, our class discussion. So what are those challenges that I'm telling you about? The number one challenge would be difficulty in properly implementing cooperative learning principles. As mentioned before, cooperative learning involves core principles for structuring teamwork, both for preparing pupils to cooperate and for organizing pupils to interact in the task. So nevertheless, research has indicated that teachers do not find it easy to implement the cooperative language learning principles. What can we do? Well, for me, I believe you would be able to ask advice from other teachers who have experienced doing cooperative language learning activities in their class. You can ask for tips and strategies to make the activity successful. Also, take into consideration the profile of your students. Ask these questions. Does my class need to have special arrangements to make this activity work? Or what kind of tools do I have to prepare in advance? Etc. Number two, locus of responsibility and authority. Locus meaning place. So yes, it is definitely a challenge because cooperative learning implies transferring greater responsibility from the teacher to the pupil or students, delegating authority to the pupils in the creation of learner-centered environments. This implies that teachers have to believe and trust that pupils are likely to learn. And this is not easy for some teachers who doubt that their pupils can work effectively in groups. What can we do? Well, set proper expectations with our students. For example, the student who will act as leader must know exactly what has to be done. Same thing goes to the members. Also ask the task which the students should be doing should have the level of difficulty appropriate for the competency level of the majority in class. So basically, the things that we should be asking from them should fall around the average level of difficulty, not too hard. Number three, the teacher's role as facilitator. In cooperative learning, teachers' role change. They become facilitators who monitor groups in action. Teachers observe the teams as that they have the opportunity to intervene when needed to regulate pupil behavior and cognitive activities. Nevertheless, cooperative learning poses a challenge to the teacher's control of the classroom environment, and teachers report their fear of discipline problems. Well, that's so true. But what can we do as teachers? For me, plan ahead. Okay? If the activity will create noise which might disrupt other class, then the venue of the activity could be planned. With regards to discipline and behavior, talk to the class in advance, tell them what behavior is acceptable and not, and what's not, and clearly explain the consequences of their behavior. Also, you may assign a few members of the class to assist in making sure that the activity will be successful. How about you? What are your suggestions? Number four, alignment with curriculum. Teachers may experience difficulties in deciding how to embed cooperative learning into an already packed curriculum, especially when the material found in textbooks and other didactic sources do not encourage teachers to structure cooperative activities and cooperative learning activities, as it is perceived difficult to use. In these conditions, some teachers are likely to perceive cooperative learning as an obstacle in the rush to cover the course content. So, what can we do in that situation? For me, the answer is integration. Cooperative learning is an approach to teach the content of the curriculum, therefore, it shouldn't stand in the way of implementing it. While it is true that cooperative language learning may consume time in implementing, we can solve that problem by integration of other skills and competency that is related to the topic. So while it is true that we might consume a lot of time in doing cooperative language learning activity, we would also be able to cover a lot of topic in a single activity. So it also depends on your strategies. If you have additional strategies or additional insights about how to address these challenges, you are most welcome to share them in the comments section, or please tell us about it when we have our class discussion. You can also write it in your reflection paper. So aside from teachers, students also experience difficulties or challenges in the cooperative language learning. This might include, number one, group conflict, of course. Physical distance in the case of new normal learning, lack of expertise of group members, passivity in doing cooperative activities, of course, that's understandable. But what can we do as teachers? We can act as mediator, we can innovate, we can provide support, and we can definitely encourage. With that, I would like to share a quote from Walt Disney. If you can dream it, you can definitely bring it into reality. It is my ardent intention that this humble presentation was able to impart a few things that would do just that. Thank you for staying with me until the end of the presentation. I appreciate that.